All right, everyone. My name is Kate with Scott Leroy Marketing. Today, we're going to be covering designs within Command. And part of that, we're going to go over how to create some basic items. So, how to create an email signature within the Command platform under designs, as well as how to create like a social media post that you can share to social media through Command. Um, Before we jump into Command, though, I just want to go over where you can find today's recording. In the event you need to refer back to that for any reason, you can view that on our YouTube channel. I will go ahead and drop this in the chat for you guys. Um, when checking out our YouTube channel, I always recommend the videos tab, which you can see here. That's what I linked to you guys. The reason I recommend that is that it's going to show you the most recently uploaded, the latest videos. So you're going to make sure you're finding the most recent content. If you're searching for a class, for example, if you're searching for today's class, on our YouTube, you may find something that's kind of older before you would find the most recent. So by going to that videos tab, you're going to find the most recent videos. Also recommend subscribing if you don't already. We do put out tip videos that go over new features with Command and new content. So it's a great place to stay up to date on what's new in Command. But without further ado, let's jump into Command. So if you're not familiar, you will access Command through agent.kw.com. You're going to sign in with those usernames and passwords. Uh, Username is not going to be case sensitive, but your password will be. And if you're encountering any issues with that, you can certainly click Forgot Password to reset that. Um, Once you are logged in, though, your screen may look similar to mine. This home screen here is slightly customizable, so yours could look a little bit different than mine does. But from here, the first thing we want to do is we want to navigate over to Designs, which is going to be one of these applets on the left-hand side over here. If you're not familiar with those applets, you can certainly hover over them. It's going to give you the name. We're looking for the one that looks kind of like a canvas with a paintbrush on top of it. You can also hit this red and white KW button at the top that doesn't really look like a button, and that will expand that navigation bar, allowing you to see those different applets and what they're called. But again, we're going to head straight into designs. Sorry, just commenting in the chat. Looks like somebody's having some trouble hearing. Um, From there, we're brought into our designs. So from here, this is just our designs dashboard. This is going to show previously created designs in our command account that we've created. So if you don't have anything here, that is totally okay. It just means you get a fresh designs palette to start with. But you can also search for designs, whether you're searching for certain types of designs that you created. You can search by those. You can also sort them to see the oldest designs that you've created or the newest first. So whatever you want to do, you can change the layout here to be like this if you'd like. I like the little tiles instead, just easier for my eyes to navigate through. Um, and then up at the top, we have Create Design as well as Import Design. Now we're going to start with this Import Design button today. And the first thing we want to do when we go to import design, once it loads, is we want to navigate to this assets button up top. So we're going to head there. Now your assets, these are going to be super important to set up. You really just have to do it once unless you make changes. But these allow you to easily, quickly create your designs with some consistency. So you get to create color palettes, fonts, things like that. It's just going to make, like I said, creating your designs a little bit simpler, a little easier on you. So when we're on the assets, you're going to see that we first have company assets. Now that is a drop down. We also have my assets, which we're going to take a look at in just a second. Your company assets, though, these are going to be provided by Keller Williams International. So as you can see, we have kind of the KW colors right here. They've created a color palette. We then have some different fonts that we can use. Now, they have a ton. These are just different options for you to use when you're creating designs, not that you have to use one or the other. These are just what they've added for you guys. Now, next is images. Now, images is going to be a place where you can come to find different types of stock images. So let's say you're creating a holiday piece, everybody's getting ready for the holidays. You want to come find a graphic to use. You can come grab one of these and start using them in your designs. Now, they have a bunch of folders with different types of designs. Let's say you're trying to promote your app. You can certainly check out those, include your app link, things like that. But again, these are going to be just different KW provided stock images that you can use. Now, next is going to be text. Now, for text, they just have their ownership statement, which is going to be that each office is independently owned and operated. So that just allows you to quickly and easily pull that statement into different designs you're creating to make sure you're compliant. Next is logos. This is where you can come and find different Keller Williams provided logos. I keep checking this business card. They added this quite a while ago and there's been nothing in it. So I just check it every time to see if they've added something. You have KW University events. This is going to have like the Red Day logos if you need those for anything. Luxury logos. We have some miscellaneous. This is going to be your Equal Housing and NAR logo. If you do anything with labs, and then you also have some generic Keller Williams logos that you can use. Now moving down is elements. Now, the elements are going to be kind of like symbols, icons, things that you're going to use on a repeat basis when you're creating designs. So, of course, if you're adding your email, website, phone number, things like that, you can use these icons next to them instead of using like a C or a E, things like that. You can use these instead. You can also have videos as assets as well as files. Now, KW just has their style guide and their design addendum. You can, of course, check those out. But moving down to my assets, this is where you get to create consistency within your branding. So do you have specific colors that you're using? Have you branded yourself and you want to be consistent in your marketing? If you have and you have a logo, you want to pull those colors in, things like that, you can create your own color palette. You can also come in and adjust one of these. If you picked a wrong color, you can certainly come in and change that. So let's say we want to do a darker pink, go a little bit lighter. You can, of course, come in and edit those. You can also rename them, delete them if you clicked one by accident. But when you're adding a new palette, same as I was just doing, it's going to allow you to just start clicking those colors. You can also use the dropper. Again, if you have a logo that you've created, you can use that dropper to pull that exact color from whatever logo you had, and it will add that there. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. Now you can also find your own fonts. So again, branding yourself, being consistent. You can either upload fonts or you can find fonts right here on the web. So you can come here, look through these. If you like one, you can turn it on. Go ahead and hit add, and it will immediately add those to your fonts that are available. Next is your images. So this is a great place to add your headshots. I always like to put QR codes in here because QR codes are great for marketing, especially if you're creating printout flyers and you want to be able to easily redirect them to your website or your app. You can have your app QR or your website QR created, and you can add those to different flyers so that they can easily access those websites. So that's a great one to add here. You can, of course, create flyers. So this is just a great place for you to add different photos you're using on a regular basis, either of yourself or vendors you might use on a frequent basis that you might use with marketing, things like that. Now, next is text. This is where you get to add your own text. So if you're pulling in your website often, if you're pulling in your logo or your phone numbers, websites, QR codes, or not QR codes, your app link, things like that, that you don't want to have to type out every time, you can add those to your assets. So you can easily pull them in. I really like to use the app link because you can't customize that link. It's usually just a bunch of random numbers. So that's a great one to put in here. Now, next is logos. This is where I recommend putting your market center specific logos, which I can show you how to find those if you're not familiar. This is also where I'd recommend if you've branded yourself and created your own logo, either for yourself as a solo agent or a team, you can add those logos here to where you can easily pull them in. Now, if you need to find your market center specific logos, you can do that on kwconnect.com. Once you're on kwconnect.com, you're going to go to resources and you're going to go down to marketing. Now, from marketing, we're going to check out logos and branding. And from there, we're just going to scroll down until we find this little search bar. From there, you can search by either your market center number or your market center name. So whichever is easiest for you. I'm going to just type a random number today. I always get that one, I feel like. Um, so 657. Now you can see there's two different ones. So we may want to check out those logos. Make sure it's the correct one that we're looking for. Now you can see they're a little different. So we want to make sure we grab the correct one. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this top one. We're going to download that to our folder or to our computer. From there, we're going to go ahead and open that. And I'm going to go ahead and extract that. And now we have a folder with all of those logos. So we're going to check out this black and white one. Oops, change the view. You're going to see that we're given different colors and format options. So we have one with a white background and some with transparent backgrounds. This makes it very easy for us to use on different types of marketing. Of course, if we have a dark background, we may not want to use the black and gray one. We may want the all white. So you have a ton of different options there. If we go back, we also check out the CMYK folder. And this is where we can find our colored options. So you'll see, again, different colors, formats. I do like to mention not every KW office has all of the same color options available. So if you're not seeing all of these, your office just may not have those. But KW Connect is where you would find them if they do. Now, once we've downloaded those, I'm going to go ahead and add them to my assets. So we're going to go ahead and add an asset, or I'm going to do a folder first. It makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to do 657. And now we have a new folder. So I'm going to go ahead and add those here. We're going to grab them from my computer. And I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to click add more, and we're going to grab the rest of them. We're going to grab all of these. So now we have a total of 7 files that we're adding. So I'm going to go ahead and upload. And now when I'm creating my design, no matter what the background is, I'm going to have the perfect logo that's going to work on that. So I have all of the different options. Now next is elements. Again, if you have symbols, icons that you're using frequently, you can add those here. Maybe you have the same ones as KW, but in a different color. If you have any videos, you can add those or any files. Now for the videos, keep in mind those do need to be public videos. Generally, we recommend adding them to a YouTube channel or something like that so that you can add them here. Now, guys, we're going to go back to command and we're going to start creating our design now. So we're going to go back to designs. And this time, instead of going to import, we're going to hit create design. And for today, like I said, we're going to focus on creating an email signature and a social piece. For both of those items, we're going to find them in social. So we're going to go ahead and check that one, and we're going to hit next. And from here, the next screen is going to look very familiar because it's bringing us back into projects, which is how we got to assets. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to just head straight to templates. Sometimes it will bring you into templates, sometimes my projects. It kind of depends if you've been in designs before and where you left off. Now from here, you'll notice that we have some different categories on the left-hand side. And within those categories, we have additional categories. So this is where we get to come and see what are we trying to create today? What's that going to be under? Now, the first thing we're going to take a look at is an email signature. And for that, we're going to go to Business Basics and we're going to go down to email signatures. Now, as you can see, they also have some business card templates, letterheads. If you're looking for social media branding for maybe your Facebook, they have cover photos for those. You can also find Zoom backgrounds. If you're on a Zoom and you want to pop a background up, you can come here and find that. But again, we're going to take a look at email signatures. Now, from there, we're going to go ahead and pick one of these and start editing. Now, I'm going to go with this red one. We're going to hit Use. And once we do that, we are redirected to the WeBrand editor. And this is where we can start customizing our email signature. Now, before we do that, over here on the left-hand side, we have images, text, logos, everything that we kind of went over before. So images, you're going to notice we have stock photos. These are going to be actual stock photos from the internet. Next to that, we're going to have workspace. Now, workspace is going to be where you can find those KWRI assets that we were looking at before. So, for example, we kind of looked at this dog. You're going to find all of those same photos here. And then we have my assets. So, where I can find my photos and quickly pull them over. Now, that's going to go the same for most of these. Some of them are going to have a couple additionals, but for text, you have add new, which is going to allow you to add new text directly to the top. You have banners, kind of looks like stickers in my opinion. You have the KWRI assets and your own. Same for logos. You have the KWI and mine. It's going to be kind of the same for these. We do have a new one here, which is the KWLS. This allows us to search for our listings and easily pull them in. We're going to take a look at this on our social design, so we'll come back to that one. And we're going to take a look at animation on our social posts as well, so we'll skip that one. But let's go ahead and start editing. So the first thing I want to do is I want to replace the photo. So I'm going to click on that and I'm going to go to images. Now I'm under my assets already. Um, since I'm clicked on this photo, I have this little double arrow that says replace image. That's going to allow me to easily swap that photo for mine. It's going to put it in that exact same space and make it fit there perfectly. Now, if we're not clicked on that photo and we click on this, it's going to add it directly to the top. So there's no replace arrow when we're hovering over this. Once you've got your photo, if you want to adjust it, you certainly can. If you want to zoom in a little, move it over, you can do any of that by double clicking. And then once you have it where you want it, go ahead and hit done. Now from there, the next thing we've got is our logo. We're going to click on that and you can see it brought us into logos. We're going to go ahead and click mine so we can find our own. Now we did 657 today, so let's go ahead and grab one of those. Now, obviously we probably don't want to do the red and white because that red KW is going to be very hard to see. So I'm going to go with the all white like they had before. And of course, these templates are customizable. So if you don't like how this looks and you want to move this over here, you certainly can. These are yours. The only thing we do is recommend that you check with your market center to make sure you're compliant. So just make sure you're doing that. Now with me moving that logo, I'm going to go ahead and move the name up. And we're going to double click on this as well and hit just start typing. And there is another way to edit text as well. You can also click on that and find the typewriter up top. And that's going to open a box where you can start editing that as well. Now, once I have my name there, I can still edit that if I want to change the font. Um, we can certainly change it to something that looks a little different. We'll just pick one here. Now I can also make that bigger. Let's go to 36. Now we've wrapped it, so we can go ahead and drag that out, move it up, and we've got a different font there. Now we're going to leave Realtor there. Some people don't like this line being over the photo. You can, of course, move that if you don't like it, or you can leave it. Up to you. We're going to move the license up as well, the address. And again, these are the same. You're either going to double click or you're going to click on that and use the typewriter. I'm just going to type a bunch of numbers here. And I'm going to leave the address for now. We don't really need to edit that one. Um, Next is our phone numbers, emails, websites. So one thing I want to point out with this is if you are using your assets, this is multiple pieces of information in one field box. So if you're replacing that with just the phone number, it's going to replace all of that with just one item. So in some cases, it is going to be easier to just double click and edit, but we'll leave that up to you. You can also create one in your assets that has all of the same information. So that is another option as well. I'm going to leave the office. We'll go ahead and edit the phone or the email and website. So we'll do support, and we'll go ahead and edit the website. All right. And now we have all of that there. Now, this is a great place to add your QR if you want to instead of the link. But again, up to you. You can certainly just put your app link here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this though, and I'm going to grab my app QR. We're going to go ahead and add that. And if you guys need a QR for your app, you can certainly reach out to our support email. We're happy to create one of those for you, whether it's for your website or your app. I'm going to zoom in just a little. And we're going to click on all of this if I can. Doesn't like my clicking. It's clicking the background. There we go. Now I'm going to drag all of this over. And I do apologize if you hear any background noise. We do work from home, and I have a little one who's trying to keep herself occupied. Hopefully it's not too noisy. Now we've got that there. Now, of course, this is a great place where you can get very personal with your stuff. So if, again, you have your own branded colors, you can certainly change that. Again, we just recommend checking with your office. Make sure you're compliant with whatever you're choosing. Let's go with the darker one today. And if you wanted to change the name, the color of that, you certainly can. Again, all of this customizable. Go with the pink. Not that Scott's going to want a purple and pink email signature, but there it is. So you can change all of that text, font, etc. If you did have your own logo, you can of course add that on here as well. So let's go ahead and go back to grab Scott's here. And of course, we do not want it that big. But we can go ahead and pop this one up here too. Either next to it, under it, wherever you want. Now that we have our email signature done though, we've created everything on it, we can go ahead and download this and get this added to our email. All right, so let's go ahead and hit this download button in the top. Now you're going to leave this as a JPEG. You can also use a PNG. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And it says all pages. There is only one page to this design, so we're going to go ahead and just hit download. We're going to download that. And I'm going to stop share for 1 second, guys. I'm going to pull up my email and show you guys how we add that to our email. So let me get my KW email opened over here. Actually, it looks to have logged me out, but that is okay because I will just pull up a different email and we'll go through it there because it's going to look the exact same. So let's take a look at this really quick. All right, so now we're in our email. This is the same as a KW email. So if we go ahead and hit settings and see all settings, We're going to scroll down until we find a box that says signature. Now, if you don't have a signatures, yours is going to look more like this. But we're going to go ahead and hit create new. And I'm going to do today's class as the date. And we're going to hit this little insert image. Now, when we do that, we have a couple of options. So we have the web address or the Google Drive. Now, I'm going to keep this really simple today. We're going to use imgur.com. You do not have to have an account to create this, but this is an easy way for you to host your email signature and add it as that URL. So I'm going to go ahead and I did that really quick. We're getting all these pop-ups. We're going to go ahead and hit new post. Again, you don't need an account to create this. We're going to do that, and we're going to drag Scott's in. Now from here, so that we can get that web address, I'm going to open this in a new tab, and we're going to do copy that image address. From there, we're going to go back to our email signature. We're going to paste that in, and as you can see, there is our email signature. So we're going to go ahead and do insert. It's going to add that email signature for us. Now we can, of course, resize that if we want to. I'm going to leave it original because that makes it pretty legible. And from there, the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure we turn it on. So you want to make sure signature defaults are set up. Do you want this to come up for new emails? You're going to want to turn that on. You select the name of it. Do you also want it to come up for when you're replying to emails or forwarding emails? So we're going to want to turn that on as well. And last, we're going to go down and save changes. And from there, we can go ahead and open a new email, make sure we can see that, test it out, and we're good to go. I'm going to stop share and we're going to go back to my other screen so we can go back to command. Alrighty. Now that we're done with this email signature though, we've added it to our KW email or a Gmail, whichever one. You can go ahead and hit done in the top right corner. And that's going to bring us back into our designs. Now, as you can see, my new email signature is right here in the top. I can go back in and edit that. Let's say I got a new headshot. I can go in and change that without having to recreate the entire thing all over from scratch. Um, I don't see any questions in the chat, so let's go ahead and keep moving. Now, the next thing we're going to do, you guys, is we're going to create something for our social media. So we're going to go ahead and do create design again. And from there, again, we're going to do social. Now, if you guys are interested in any of these others, you can certainly check out our YouTube. We do have classes that go over it. If we have time, we'll try to check out the video. That one's super short, and we may have time to cover that today because usually this class doesn't take a full hour. But we're going to go ahead and hit social and next. And again, we should be brought into templates. Now from here, this is where you have to decide what kind of social post are you creating today? Are you looking for holiday posts so you can get those set up and scheduled? They have a ton for Hanukkah, winter solstice, all of that good stuff. You can find the Christmas ones. So you can come here and find any of those social posts. These are super easy because all you have to do is go in and edit that logo. Um, so they're very simple and quick to edit. But we're going to take a look at one that we can pull a listing into. So let's go ahead and go to listings. And we'll go ahead and do open house today. Now, once you check out open house, you'll see that we have a ton of designs that we can choose from. Now, one thing I like to point out is this section at the top. This is going to tell you the different types of like sizes that you can find. So if you're looking for a flyer specifically, you're creating an open house flyer, you're going to want to click that flyer. It just eliminates the templates that are not what you're looking for. If you're looking for a postcard, that's a great place. So just whatever you're looking for, that's going to be the easiest way to eliminate any other templates that may not work for what you're creating. Now, when I'm doing social posts, I like to stick with the square. The reason for that is that it is the easiest to use on all of the platforms. So if you're using the social wide, it doesn't always work so well when you're posting to Instagram as well. So just keep that in mind when you're creating these, what works the best for whatever you're creating. We're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna pick this top right one though. And we're gonna hit use. Now from there, this screen should look very familiar. We're brought back into that WeBrand editor. Now a couple things we didn't cover last time. When you're not clicked on the design, so if I click on the design, this bar up here changes slightly. If I click off of it, I have different options. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking to create shapes, draw on it, you want to create frames to put photos in, those are great because it puts it into that perfect little circle. So if that is something you're looking for, you have that. But you can't access these unless you're clicked in kind of the white space over here. But let's go ahead and start editing this one. So the first thing we're going to do on this one is we're going to grab our listing. So I'm going to click on the photo here and we're going to go down to the KWLS. And from there, we're going to search for our listing. And sorry guys, got a little thrown off because this wasn't here a second ago. So I'm wondering if they're making some updates. Um, Anyways, we're going to search for our listing. So we can search for our listing a couple of different ways. You can click the little filter icon and you can search by the listing address, the MLS number, the KWLS ID, listing agent, or co-listing agent. Now this is searching every MLS. So it's going to be a lot faster if you do have that MLS ID or MLS number. It's going to pull it just a lot quicker for you. I don't have an MLS ID or number, so we're just going to search 123 Main Street. It's always my go-to. And we're just going to pick one of these houses that we find. We'll go with this one right here. Now, when I find my listing, you'll see it's going to pull all of the listing photos. It's going to pull all of the listing details. So this makes it very easy for whatever marketing piece you're creating. You don't have to go back and forth to get the square footage, the pricing, especially if you're doing an open house for a different agent in the office or something like that. So this just makes it super easy. You will, of course, want to make sure everything is accurate, but it should be pulling directly from the MLS. But it's going to have bedrooms, the description, everything. So as you can see when I click on that, it's kind of hard to see, but it is pulling the entire description from the MLS. So we're going to go back to photos. We're going to click on our image again, and we're going to go ahead and just swap this. Let's grab this one. We can, of course, edit that if we want to zoom in slightly. We can, of course, do that. We can move it down, however you want to get it to where it looks the best to you. But we can go and pull that in. Now next we can pull our address. And as you can see, it is slightly different. So keep that in mind when you're typing these, or if you're swapping them out, you may want to edit that. I'm just going to remove that part for now. Same for the price. Oops, and I did the wrong thing. It didn't click when I wanted it to. I'm going to click on that price, and we're going to do replace. Now, as you can see, it adds USD, so we can delete that if we want to or leave it, up to you. Now, there's not a ton in this graphic to edit. We can, of course, change our logo out. Go ahead and do. Gosh, I wonder if they are making updates while we're in here because it's not giving me that replace either. Guys, always a fun day when you're working in Command. Let's just go ahead and delete that one and add this one new. We're going to move it down, put it here. We'll leave it bigger anyway, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab my KW asset though. We'll pop that below. I'm going to change the color of that so we can see it. And we're just going to pop that right below the logo there. Now we don't necessarily need to change the open house. Let's say that we did want to add the time and date to this though. We want it to be in the image. not just in the text. We can, of course, add it in the description. Let's go ahead and add new. We're going to change that to be white as well. And let's say it is Saturday. Uh, we'll just do Saturday. We'll just put the whole thing. What is this weekend? The 7th. We'll do one. And I know you can't see what I'm typing. I'm going to fix that in just a second. And actually, it didn't even type all of it. All right. Now we're going to make that slightly bigger so that it looks like it belongs there. And you could put this up here. You could put it down here. I think I like it up here. It's a little less cluttered up top. Then we're going to switch out our photo again. Nope, not going to work for me today. Oh, wait, that one's got it. Look at that, it's back. I don't know why it's working for some and not the others, but we're just going to put Scott right over the top and call it a day. Now, since we are using this for social media, you can add some animation if you want. So you have to keep in mind what you're creating and what you're using it for. Obviously, if you're sending this in an email, animation probably may not work. It could, but obviously, if you're printing it out, it is absolutely not going to work. So animation would be great for if you're posting on social media. So let's go ahead and check that out. So we're going to click on Open House. And then we get to decide what we want that animation to look like. So how do you want it to kind of bounce in there? We can also change this price. Let's do stomp. There we go. So now we have some animation. We can also click the play button so we could see it in full speed. Um, but you have all these options. Now you can remove them if you don't like it. But that just gives you a little bit to add to it. It's not just a flat image. Um, Now, when you download this, when you're done, you do want to download it a little bit different if you create animation. Just gonna check the. So now we're going to download this really quick. So we're going to do both the flat image. So I'm going to leave it as a JPEG and download. And then we're also going to download it as, whoops, gotta save it first. We're also going to download it as the video and GIF. So that will allow it to keep its animation. So we're just going to download like that. Now, once we're done with that, you can see the video takes a little bit longer to fully download. You can see it down here on the left. So we'll give it just a second. All right, so now that that's downloaded, we're going to hit done. Let's see what these questions are. Um, Jennifer, I'm not 100% what you're asking. Are you asking to have the agent highlighted on that? Um, Lakeisha, the best way to get a QR for your website would be to create one. You can certainly screenshot the one from your website. However, it could distort it and have, it couldn't look the best. It might not look the best. So if you want to create one, you can certainly email our support email. I'll drop that in the chat. We are more than happy to create you QR codes and they take no time at all. We just need your website URL to get that created. So that is support@scotlandraymarketing.com and we can get that created for you. Let's go ahead and walk through really quickly how to post this to social media through Facebook or through Command. So we went ahead to campaigns for this, which kind of looks like a megaphone. And if you ever get the broken arrows or the error, sometimes just refreshing your screen works wonders. We're going to hit create campaign. And for this, we're going to do social posts. Now, paid ads and social posts go to social platforms. However, social posts is going to be posted to your business pages, and you are going to, that's only going to be shown to people that follow you. Sorry, I had to phrase that differently. So it's not necessarily generating new leads, but it may stir up business to people you already know. Whereas paid ads is paying for new leads. So just the difference there in case you aren't 100%, but we're going to go to the social posts. Now from there, hopefully we've already connected our Facebook accounts in the settings section of Command. If not, we do have some tip videos on how to do that. It does need to be a business account. Okay, so Facebook does have strict rules on promoting your business on your personal accounts. So you will need a business page to connect. Now, once we're connected though, here in the top is where we can select the accounts we're wanting to post to. So if you had your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you can connect all of those and you can decide which ones you want this post to go to. Now, then we can add all of our text. We can add our media. So media is where we're going to grab in our video or image that we want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the video first. It's the same way for the photo. So if we wanted to do the photo instead, you just grab it the same and it will add. I already have one, so it's not going to add the second one. But if we wanted to remove this, we could. But you just choose file um, and it will add that right there. Then you have the little video. You can see the animation again. If you were doing this on both Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it's going to show you a preview for each of those different kinds of accounts over here. So if you had Twitter, if you have Instagram, it's going to show each of those. Then you can enter your text here. Whatever you want to type. I'm just going to keep it simple. You can add any emojis you might like. We're going to grab a little house. And let's grab a heart. Just 'cause. We'll do the heart eyes. Um, as you can see, it's adding that text so I can see real time what that's going to look like when it posts to social media. So if I need to make any adjustments, I can certainly go ahead and do that. Um, then I get to decide, am I scheduling this to post right now? So I want to do publish immediately, or do I want this scheduled, tomorrow or even on the open house day? Whatever you want to do. You can set that here though. Click the calendar, decide when you want it to go. You can also change the time to 11 a.m. We're just messing with it at this point. Once you have that set, you can go ahead and schedule posts, save draft. We're going to go ahead and save on this one. I don't want to schedule this. But once I have that, I can, of course, go back to my social post. I can see that here, and I can even make edits to it, delete it. Um, you can also view the entire calendar if you want to, and those posts that are coming up. So this goes all the way to 7th. It's not showing it there. Looks like they just made an update here too. Oh, I'm sorry. It's because it's a draft. Once it's scheduled, it will show up here. So if we go back and let's go ahead and actually schedule post. It's going to give you the previews and then it will show up right here under that date. And you can see the channels it's going. Once it's posted, you'll see that it posted. And you can also still edit and delete until it posts. Once it's posted, you'd have to go over to the account to make um, any changes. We're going to go and delete this because, again, I don't want it to post. Since we have time, we'll go ahead and go back to designs and let's take just a quick look at that video. So I'm going to do create and we're going to take a look at the video. Now these videos are super simple. There's not a lot of work on your end to do. So we're going to type Orlando. We're going to do, then it's going to pull up the neighborhoods that you can select from. We'll just pick one. Just do Westlake today. Then once you do that, it's going to start populating some information for you. So the average home price, homes prices are on the rise. That can be adjusted if you want. Average square footage, average price per square footage is holding steady, on the rise, decline, etc. It will populate one, but of course it can be adjusted. Number of homes for sale, days on market, some top features about the neighborhood. It's going to pull your agent information. If any of this information is pulling incorrectly, you're going to want to pull that from your or edit that in your marketing profile, because that is where it's pulling this from. Same for your market center information, pulling all of that from your marketing profile. Once we hit next, it's going to create a quick little video for us that we can post to social media. We'll give it a second to load. If you guys have any questions while this is loading, go ahead and drop those in the chat. We're going to have about 10 minutes for questions, which is great. Um, but let's go ahead and play this quick little video so you can see what those look like. Alrighty, guys. So that is the little video that you can create. Again, it is not a ton of customization you can do there, but it is going to pull the neighborhood information as well as yours from your marketing profile, and you can post those to social media. So once we're done, we just hit save. It's going to add it right here so that we can go ahead and download that. We can use it in campaigns, share it to social media, whatever you want to do. So that is the last thing I'm going to cover specifically with you guys on designs today. I am going to go ahead and stop record so we can go through some questions. So if you don't have any questions, feel free to jump off. I appreciate you all coming today and I hope this was helpful. But if you do have questions, hang around and we'll go through those.